Good morning, guys. Today, I'd like to introduce Scott Wallace. Scott is with I'm the Chef Too. Scott, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Wonderful. Well, Travis, thank you so much for having us. I'm one of the founders of I'm the Chef Too. I'm the Chef Too is a curriculum-based cooking kit for children. So we teach children STEM through the vessel of cooking. We do this as a subscription model as well as a la carte, and we sell nationwide all over the country to D2C mostly and in schools.
Very nice. I love the concept of most kids don't necessarily know how to cook. So the idea of giving them kind of that home ec at home type of thing is great. But also the chemistry and the math that goes into cooking and baking, it's kind of hidden in cooking. And so it's a nice approach to that. So very cool. Tell me a little bit about your growth and how you guys have, from start to where you are now, what your growth curve has looked like.
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate. So we actually started off 7 years ago as a summer camp and after school program. So we were a rolling kitchen. We did it regionally in the state of Maryland and in New York State. When COVID came, it actually put us out of business, and we had 600 campers that had pre-signed up, and we had bought all the supplies. And so it was a question of, do we go under or do we pivot? And my partner and wife, Lisa Wallace, and I came up with, let's do an at-home summer camp for the lockdown. And so we rolled up our sleeves and took the ingredients that were going to all just spoil and started bagging them up, boxing them up, and shipping them out. And I was working in the med device world and wasn't allowed to go in the hospital, so I became our delivery driver.
Very nice. Very nice. I think it's interesting how COVID has changed the world so much. And in some ways, in a bad way, in some ways, in a great way, to be able to kind of pivot and grow. I think your tenacity to continue to grow and to continue on shows a lot of encouragement for your continued growth within the business. One of the things that I'd love to chat a little bit about right now is, right before this call, you and I chat a little bit about, you're currently in California, and I think why you're there is pretty spectacular. Do you want to kind of share with everybody why you're there?
Yeah, sure. So talking about the growth, we've actually been very fortunate to grow exponentially through the last 3 years while we were going through COVID. We went from an unknown brand to, first or second in our market space, which has been an absolute just pleasure. And with this growth, we've gotten the attention from really great partners, one of them being Disney. And so my wife and my kids and I actually got to go to the red carpet as a partnership with Disney's new movie Wish. So it was wonderful. They're a great bunch of people to work with. And we actually did some activations on the red carpet. So everyone that went to the red carpet got to do a Cheerio star, shooting star cake pop that they made that we provided. And then they left with our dual branded I'm the Chef Too Wish shooting star pancake kit. So that will be something that we will sell on our website when Wish goes to Disney Plus. So it was very fun. Then I packed up my family, shipped them back to Houston, and then I went to a conference to do more work.
Very nice. So you have to tell me, who was more excited about being at the red carpet for a Disney event, you and your wife or your kids?
So I would say that we were all very excited. My daughter, especially for the last 2 weeks, has asked me, is today the day we go on a plane and go to Disney? She picked out a star dress and was very excited, but my boys got to pick out suits, and they were very dapper. And I'm just so fortunate and feel so blessed that we were able to give this to them. And honestly, that Disney helped us out to let us bring our kids, because that is definitely a bucket list, and we're just so glad that they got to enjoy it.
Yeah, your kids might not have forgiven you if you had done that without them. That'd have been tough. Tell me a little bit about, as an employer, what has been one of your biggest learnings since you began your business?
Yeah, so going into any type of leadership role, the hardest thing is finding and retaining talent. I would say that really finding someone that is following the culture that you're trying to build is the biggest challenge. And really, reading um, weeding through the people that are just talk and the people that actually are going to make actionable progress to the business is tough. Finding executives is really tough. Finding staff members that are making less than $10 an hour and are motivated is tougher. You want to pay everyone as much as you possibly can, but in the end, you still need those, people that are running forklifts, people that are working on your assembly line or running our food production. So we do all the building in-house. We do all the food production in our facility, as well as we're our own 3PL. So we manufacture and assemble our own kits. So
Okay.
we have a pretty large production of people, and, everyone has different um, challenges, different needs, and it's just being able to adapt to that and being empathetic, but still having um, hitting the goal of making the business run. So that's been a challenge.
Sure. And you mentioned, being able to kind of discern whether someone is talk or if they're action, and being able to read those tea leaves is always a challenge. So what qualities do you look for in an employee? And then how do you foster that positive and productive work environment?
Yeah. So uh, for any business that I've been with that has been successful, it's all about culture. So it's really finding someone that has the core values and the ethics that are the core values for our business. I've been very fortunate to work with some really great companies like Edwards Life Sciences, Medtronic, AngioDynamics, to name a few. And the people are really what allowed us to be successful. And it's the people that want to go and actually be successful, want better for the business, and take those extra steps and are not just punching a clock. I mean, with any type of startup, this is my fifth startup that I've been
Right.
part of. And it's wearing lots of hats and being kind of a Swiss Army knife. And it's very difficult to find that person. But when you do, hold on tight and really make sure that you are supporting them and being there for them, because that is absolutely the fastest way to lose someone is to not value them and not giving them the respect that they deserve.
No, I couldn't agree more. Um, so to that perspective, tell me, and you mentioned that you're kind of a serial entrepreneur. You've done, this is your fifth business that you've started. Tell me a little bit about what advice you would give to new business owners regarding financial management.
Financial management. I mean, that is a that is a big one, right? So,
Mhm.
first off, I would say you're obviously a masochist. I am so sorry that you've decided this, but for all the hard jobs I've done, running your own company is absolutely the it gives the most value. It is a passion, and with running a business, it is very difficult. In the end, you have to make sure it's like playing the game in Monopoly, right? You have to be able to pass go. And
Yeah.
so the biggest things that you can lever are your EBITDA and make sure that you are not very top heavy. Labor is the heaviest thing that you can spend that you will not get back. So be higher, make sure that you hire responsibly, and when someone's ready to go, exit quickly, because staffing especially will drain you. Marketing can drain you. Make sure that you have a pulse on that, and that you may not be the expert in anything in your business, but know enough to be dangerous and know the questions to ask, because not everyone's going to give you that information willingly. And so just really make sure that you're doing that, because if you're marketing, especially when you're living in the world of meta, you can spend a lot of money before you know you've done it, and it can kill a business. And
Yeah.
so I always tell people, it's the first thing I look at in the morning is what were sales when I was sleeping, what was our spend, and are we hitting our projections? So those are, and is our build schedule meeting our demand?
Yeah, and you hit the meta piece on the head. It would be one thing if that playbook stayed the same, but it changes on a daily basis. I mean, Google themselves have made 3 huge changes in the last 4 weeks, I believe, in the where they're doing SEO and SEM, and it's a challenge to keep up with. I used to think being an accountant and understanding tax code and how frequently that changes is hard. Marketing is more difficult, I would believe. So with everything that you have going on, tell me a little bit about time management. Um, I know as a business owner, when I first started, time management was a problem, trying to figure out how to make enough time in the day to get everything done. I've been able to improve that over time. I've probably still not completely mastered it. Tell me a little bit about, for you, some of the things that you ran into and how you have solved some of those problems.
Yeah, time management is always going to be difficult. Unfortunately, when you're running something and something that's being successful, everyone wants to talk to you, and for the most part, they have something of value to hear. But you have to be able to really, segment what your goals are and make sure that you're working towards achieving those goals to get you to the next level. I'm definitely a big picture guy. I think of what we need to do in the macro, and then we go down to the micro and how we're going to achieve that. And so, making sure that you block off time for yourself. And I just call it thinking time. It's like 1 hour a week where I have blocked off, I lock my door in my office, and that is my time to think. And it could be as little as, okay, uh, we're spending too much on boxes. It's funny, every time anyone that knows me knows that I have a real thing about shipping boxes, because it is the only SKU that we have that if we don't have it, we're out of business. And
Mhm.
it comes from overseas, and we've had ships die in the water in the South Pacific. We've had boxes that were quarantined because of strikes in LA, and you're just going, oh my God, we're going to have to shut this place down until we get boxes. So, it's just, how can I do this better? And then you allot that time to figure it out. And for us, manufacturing is huge. It's how can I build more kits with less time? And so you need to put that time together to really understand it, or, the business will run you and you won't run the business. And I always tell my staff, I'm like, we have the tiger by the tail. At some point, it's going to realize we're holding its tail, and then we're going to have to do something about it.
Mhm.
Let's be proactive. Let's think of ways to be better today than we were yesterday, because we have to have a plan in place when the tiger notices. So it's just always, making those ideas and going through that. So,
Very cool. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
oh, on a beach, I hope. No, I mean, for us, with I'm the Chef too, the goal is to continue to grow it. I want this to be a household name. We've been very fortunate in the growth that we've done in the last 3 years in this model. So I want to continue to grow that. I want I'm the Chef too to be in every home, teaching kids STEM through the vessel of cooking. It's a passion for us. Education is so key to opening up a different world for children. Um, Being curious and learning is so much fun, and so I really want to do that. We're also growing our food production side of our business, so we've just built another entity called Cookville Group, and we're going to start co-packing flours and other dry ingredients for other companies. That's another segment of the business that we're growing. And then we're also building our own 3PL. So I'll be able to then, when we're not building I'm the Chef too, help other new businesses with the logistics of assembling kits and shipping them out.
Very nice. Very nice. Last question. Um, one piece of advice I'm going to give you two options and you can choose which one you want. One, what piece of advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time to when you were 18 years old? And that's one option. The other option is what is one piece of advice you would give to anybody that's thinking about starting their own business?
Oh, wow. I picked one of those.
You can give me both if you want to.
Okay. Well, the information I would say to myself is education is so imperative. Spend the time to absorb as much as I can so that I can be a better person today than I was yesterday. And the only person that you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. And that is something that I've learned hopefully quickly enough in my life that I can implement it. But that would be that. And then for those that are looking to start a business, I would say build a network. Go out. There are lots of people that are trying to do the same thing you are. May not be in the same industry, may not be anything alike, but there are people that are going through it. You're not alone. And have meaningful conversations with them. If it's just sitting down and having a beer or a coffee or whatever you are, build your network, build your group, core people to help you because they may have experienced that problem before and it could be a very easy fix. I try to help as many entrepreneurs as I can with the time I have. And I always tell them, I said, listen, I'm not smarter than you, definitely not smarter than you. I'm just telling you the mistakes that I've made in the hopes that you don't make that mistake. You're going to make other mistakes. It is impossible not to. Just try not to make that same mistake twice. If you do that and you keep your eye on the prize, you're going to be successful. Making money isn't hard if you know how to do it. Just be focused and don't be discouraged. And you become discouraged when you're sitting in your own bubble because you're not seeing the forest beneath the trees. So that would be my advice to anyone. And they can always link in with me and I can commiserate. So always willing to hear another story.
Perfect. Scott, thank you so much. And I will chat with you soon.
Travis, thank you so much.